Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Salt Grain Podcast. I am your host, Holly McNamara, and I am here in studio today with Dan Smith, my boyfriend. And the date is April 13th. So it's been 5 days since the election, which was April 8th. And we're both kind of laughing. We're like, wait, it happened so fast and it's so last minute. It happened so fast. We're like, wait, what just happened? Did I really do that? Right. And, we have been through so much since 2016 when I first ran. We were already going through stuff before that, but then I was like, oh, I'm going to run for office. Everything's fine. Everyone's like, are you sure? But I just want to say that, and I don't know how you feel, but I feel like it was honestly the best decision I ever made. I love campaigning and I love meeting everyone, like great people, even the bad ones. Like, how do you feel?
Learned a lot of lessons.
Yeah.
From 2016, especially till now, the two different campaigns, two different types of campaigning. It was definitely lessons learned.
Yeah. So I just, I made this whole list of just things that the regular public, like, they kind of see what I go through because of social media and what we go through as a couple. And even you as an individual, you've had to deal with stuff on your own. People actually call Dan Mr. McNamara, which they don't mean it to be derogatory or like anything bad. They just assume that we're married and my last name, I took his last name, but we're not married. So that Dan took it like a champ, like in the grocery store. Hi, Mr. McNamara. Hey.
I get Holly's boyfriend a lot too.
Or hi, Holly's boyfriend. But Dan deals with it like a champ. It's just awesome. So we have fun. And when I moved home, I was like, I had always seen the town through rose-colored glasses because I had such a good childhood. And even growing up, like I left when I was 18. I went to college, then I moved out west and for grad school and stayed. But I realize now that I really did see everything through rose-colored glasses. And when I first bought the house, I was like, well, I'm going to stay. This is where I'm going to stay. I have my boyfriend and, and everything's great. My mom and sister, my dog. And I'm like, I'm just going to stay. Like, I want to make the town better. And I got convinced to run for office. That was never even supposed to happen. They're like, the only way you can have an impact is to run. I'm like, all right, I can do this. Mm-hmm. And you were like, what? You're like, what does that mean? Like, tell them what I said.
I said, well, okay, you're doing something again. That's fine. I support it. It's fine with me. But what does that entail? And she said, I just go to a couple of meetings here and there. Yeah.
Which was far from the truth. I didn't know. I just thought, because you only have meetings twice a month. I didn't realize, like, I kind of knew I was getting into something, but I'm like, it can't be that bad. Okay, we were naive. I was very naive. And at the time, we need to talk about this because it ties into the current state of the town. At the time, in 2016, I was like, yeah, I'm going to pull papers. I know everyone in town. I love everyone. It's great. Little did I know, I was texting the enemy saying, hey, will you support me? That enemy at the time, well, one of the enemies was Steve Monis, the Captain Monis, former Captain Monis.
Yeah.
He was always nice to me, but little did I know he was supporting my opponent, Jeff Marks, and Jen Andrade, who's, was Jazel Correa's former chief of staff. She was running Jeff Marks' campaign, and we were running against the incumbent, Scott LeBeau, as well, and eventually Lloyd Mendes. But so little did I know that Captain Monis was supporting Jeff Marks because they all wanted to get someone in that would vote out Chief McNeil.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe it. I was like, no. I was like, no, there's no way that people are doing that just to get rid of a police chief. Like, I didn't get it. I remember that. Like, people were like, yeah, that's what's happening. And I'm like, there's no way people are actually that mean.
Yeah. Well, definitely too many politics in that process there.
Yeah.
It's alarming,
like,
actually.
Did you believe it back then when people were like, oh, yeah, he's running to get rid of Chief McNeil?
No, I didn't understand the politics of it.
Yeah.
Not 100%. Like, I knew what it meant. I knew at the end of a contract, I knew that there was a renewal and then maybe not a renewal, but the politics and why not.
Right.
Why we're not renewing that is pretty deep.
Very deep. And we had no idea. And I didn't know Chief McNeil at all. So I reached out to everyone. I was like, hey, how you doing? You know, I'm running for office. I'd love to chat with you. And I got to know Chief McNeil. I got to know so many of the department heads that I didn't know anybody really that were staff. And I was like giving everyone a chance. And so I got to know all of them, including Chief McNeil. He was a stand-up guy with a perfect record and very well respected across the state. And I'm like, why are they trying to get him out? I don't get it. There's no way it's that petty. Well, it's fucking petty.
No, it's really, really
it's really bad. So, but we were mature adults. Like, there's no way there are other adults that act like this. Well, we have some stories for you. So yeah, I ran and I got in a 4-man race. I got almost 1,900 votes. And the next one was the incumbent LeBeau, who was 780 something. And the next was Jeff Marks, 70 something or 60 something.
Yeah,
There was a big difference. Like, I could have lost more than half my votes and still won. And that's more than 1,000 votes. So that I could have lost. And then how many did Lloyd get? 128?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100 and change,
yeah, he didn't really get any votes, but love Lloyd. But yeah, and Scott LeBeau took it with such grace, and he came and spoke, and there was no nastiness between us at all. He was not, people had told me, oh, he's a bully, but he was always nice to me. He's still nice to me. And he is, whoever thinks Scott LeBeau is a bully has not met anyone at Save Our Bay. Because it's such in Brain Point. It's just like the town. It's like it doesn't exist right now. It's not real. It doesn't seem real.
Yeah, it's
right.
Plagued with something at this point. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, and so like all those 5 years of me being in office, like Dan and I loved it. There were a lot of traumatic experiences for our family.
Which I think we spoke on in the last.
We did. In episode 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was, so you should watch that because that's more of a detailed recount of it. But that was just one thing, but like a huge thing. But still, the 5 years, we loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I said this in my Facebook Live that Clem Brown, who was the lawyer for like 33 years, I think, before he retired from the town. I was there when he retired, and he said off camera, because he doesn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but he said that my board with David and Steve Monis, the selectman Steve Monis, not the captain, he said we were the best board he had ever represented. Like, that says a lot. In 33 years, we had, and some of us made mistakes, but we weren't like hating each other, and we didn't have people attacking each other. We just got everything done. We did so much together, and we were positive, and we enjoyed the meetings, and we laughed, and it was awesome. But
definitely not like that now.
No, it's gone. It died. It's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and last night I saw David because we went to his wife's surprise birthday, and I remembered why I love Somerset again. Like, it's sad that I have to see that so rarely now. Um,
Then previous boards making it as difficult as they can for Spirit of Somerset. Everybody seems to really like that event.
yeah,
They're taking that away.
yeah,
It's just wrong.
yeah. They're shoving it down David's throat,
Mm.
and it's for the town. Like, for Christ's sake, like what? I just then they backpedal, and then it's just too
Yeah, they
much
get a lot of feedback, and then all of a sudden, oh no, we meant
because they're sheep.
Yeah.
I mean, I never expected to be in this position. People are like, "Why do you care?" And I'm like, "I don't know why you like ice cream." Like, I care because what's wrong with me caring? Like, I want. Once you get involved, you understand it. When you're not involved, you really can't understand it, really at all.
Mm-hmm.
You have to live it, and you'll understand like why it's important to vote, why it's important to be communicative, and like it's just so important. Why it's important to be kind. Like, they attack me and they're like, "Oh, she plays victim." Well, maybe I am. So, well, I hate her. She's such bah, 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 bah. And that's offensive. So I'm like, okay. You're just such a victim. What? So you want me to let you say whatever you want? Like, what? I don't. That makes no sense.
Yeah, they don't want any consequences. They don't want any. They don't want to get into the mud.
It's exhausting. It's embarrassing, but it's growing in numbers. Like I said, it's a cancer. And I said that when I lost this election. It's a cancer taking over our town. And what I noticed is the pendulum keeps swinging back and forth. And you hear from people from, that were involved decades ago, and it was the same. It would swing back and forth, but it would never get better. There were some very monumental things that happened in the past couple hundred years, but like right now, it's just the trend is it's getting worse. It's been 3 years of hammering everyone down, 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 down. You know what I mean? And you can feel it. It's like, I don't want to. There are a lot of people that don't feel comfortable going out in public. How about that? Remember that party we were invited to?
Oh yeah, yeah. Name I don't know.
No name.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, I don't know. We just find out that I ran into someone in a local establishment, and they told me, they said, I said, oh, I haven't seen. They said that they were going to said party, and we used to attend this party, and we found out from this person, they were like, oh, they didn't want to invite us because it made other people at the party uncomfortable because of politics.
Yeah,
And,
like they can't be adults.
Yeah, they can't be adults. They can't just you can't go enjoy a 4th of July party that you used to go to for years.
Yeah, and you're not choosing me over them, so let us make the decision. It's not up to you. If I'm uncomfortable, I won't go.
Right.
If they are, they don't have to go either. Like, so you chose that person, you let her decide. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure I know who it was, but like, it's so dumb. Mm-hmm. Like, nothing ever happened between us. That's the other thing. Mm-hmm. Nothing ever happened. Mm-hmm. They were uncomfortable because they were bullying me, and they were guilty as all get up.
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't want us there because it made them uncomfortable.
They don't want to face me. Yeah. None of them. There was a few weeks ago, a woman in a coffee shop that I went to was with my friend. And as soon my friend saw her, she knows exactly who she is. And the girl comes in, sees that I'm there. There's a woman with a stroller and a baby with her, and it's not her baby, but she's their friend. They make this whole thing. They sit down. The girl sits down, and then her friend sees me and was like, "We have to leave." Made her wrap up all the baby stroller stuff and leave because she saw me sitting there. It was like instant. Mm-hmm. Why? Because you don't stop bullying me. You won't leave my name out of your mouth. Mm-hmm. They don't stop. Yeah. They're obsessed. Mm-hmm. It's nuts.
No.
And people like, I don't know. You probably know who I'm talking about, right?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep. And they just they like you said, keyboard warriors. They say and say and talk, disparage, and the victim, they're playing victim, and they just
Yeah.
can't face
It's
the music if they actually
yeah.
encounter someone.
Yeah. God. So campaign mistakes. I thought about this a lot, because we've talked about it. But I can look back and think, oh God, I was running the campaign like it was 2016. Like I had an extra month. Like I didn't have early voting. I didn't have mail-in voting. And I got the numbers later. And remember, like I was sending things out as if it was 2016 again. I was like, okay, we're going to hit hard at the end. So they remember to vote Monday. 90% of the people, is about 3,000 people, voted by mail and early, which was by like April 3rd. Just but the mail-in requested ballots, there are about 3,000 of those. Probably not everyone voted. So in total, about 3,000 votes came in at the end of March. Everyone had made up their mind before I started even campaigning. Like, so people needed to re-meet me because I did resign, and that's a big deal. But they need to hear the story, like why I resigned. So which brings us to, and you need to tell the story about Captain Monis.
Oh. Okay. Well, last weekend was a couple of days before the election, hammering door hangers and making sure that everybody got the pamphlet and the information, which we just established was probably too late at that point.
Way too late. And we didn't get enough anyway, but...
Yeah, people had pretty much made up their mind, or, hey, I already voted. What they would tell you who you voted for, which is fine.
Well, a lot of people said they voted for me, which I was shocked. A lot of people.
But I respect the fact that somebody said...
Oh, yeah.
If they say...
some people don't. You can't push...
And you don't ask, and if they want to offer, that's fine, but it's a personal thing. I get it. But somebody wanted to make a point in the street, and I thought it was bullshit. But Captain Steve Monis, he ended up after I hung a hanger on his door, and he felt the need to...
You were like 40 yards away.
Yeah, I had already gone down to the next two houses.
That's far.
Which was far on the road that he lives on. So I was coming across the road to go to the next one, and I was encountered. He was coming toward me, and he
barreling towards you.
Well, he seemed like he was walking with a little bit of purpose, and he wanted to make a point to me that he did not want my handout. And I said, okay, well, you could just throw that kindly in the recycle bin if you'd like, and I'll just move on with my day. But he had to make a point to I'm not sure if he knew who I was at the time.
No, he definitely didn't.
Maybe he didn't, but he walked right up to me and said, I don't want this in my house, or whatever it is. Take the pamphlet back. And he's then called out when he got 10 feet from me. He said, she resigned, remember? Or
he kept saying, I don't need this. I don't need this.
Yeah.
I don't need. You were
like, very aggravated.
Why did you walk 40 yards? Like, can you just put it in the...
I already stated he was just trying to make a point to me by handing it back to me without...
Frantically.
Yeah, instead of just crumpling it up and throwing the recycle bin. But he wanted to make a point, and I thought it was just absolute bullshit.
It was.
So he walked up and handed it to me, and he said that she quit, remember? And I said, I do, and I remember why. And, I said... Thanks, Steve. And I turned around and walked away.
Called him out.
Yeah. So, I mean, he probably didn't know I knew who he was, but...
until then, yeah.
So people in town, those are the people that just have to be heard. And
yeah, and the thing is with him, like, we have always been cool. Always. There's no reason why we shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. Even though he was one of the people that wanted to get Chief McNeil out because he wanted to be chief. Mm-hmm. I get it, but... we were still nice to each other. And then I actually went to his retirement party and supported him. Like, but now he hates me. Like, you had to do that, to run to you and make it a point to tell you that he has no need for me in his house flyer.
Well, still no names. Somebody had, I remember, if you remember, somebody had encountered you and said that, no, maybe this isn't for you anymore. Or, and somebody had, it's okay to have that opinion, but to make it a point, yeah.
Look, you don't have to like me. You don't have to vote for me. This was someone that I've known for 36 fucking years. And I have not heard from them in probably about 5 years. And I resigned 3 years ago. So do the math. I've not heard from this person. Like, hey, are you okay? Like, which is fine. Like, I didn't hear from a lot of people. I heard from a lot of people, but some people, that's fine. But that means that we're not very close anymore. But we should be. We've been close for 36 years. So that to me just tells me that person isn't a good friend. Doesn't even know why I resigned. Does not involve themselves in politics. Ever. Put up my sign once as a 36-year-old friend. Well, then it was almost 30. So, yeah, I was like, hey, do you want to sign again? Like you had one the last time. Wrote a fucking novel to me about how I'm not fit. And they just don't like it, even though she'll always support me as a friend. And I'm like, wait. And too much going on in politics and with you and blah, blah, blah. Clearly does not know anything about why I resigned and what transpired in the past 5 years. No clue.
Yeah, instead of taking the opportunity to talk to you and ask you what your feelings are or what's going on and educating herself as a friend even. Yeah,
like you'd think, okay, 36 years. She would have called me, like, this is a big deal in your life. Are you okay? Nothing. So she formed an opinion, nasty opinion. It was pretty nasty. The message wasn't, she thought it was fine because she's like, oh, you're going to be mad at me for having a different opinion. And I'm like, no, this isn't about a different opinion. This is about my 36-year-old friend of 36 years making a massive judgment on me without calling me once. Didn't talk to me once. You are not my friend, honey. I get it now. You're really not my friend. Goodbye. Like, you shat on me. This is not about having a differing opinion. It's about you being a terrible friend. And she's like, oh, I've known you for 36 years. Yeah, no shit. I would expect this from someone that doesn't know me, not someone that knows me for 36 years. Fuck off. Yeah, good call on that story. But yeah, I had to reintroduce myself to the community, and I did it way too late. Because I understand, like, I resigned. It's a big deal when you hear that, and you don't know why. Like, well, there's no excuse. Well, there was a very good excuse, and it actually helped the town. But when when people don't listen, they just hear like, oh, she resigned. But that they don't understand how things work, because me resigning had no impact. And they didn't have to have that special election. That was Alan's choice because they wanted Kathy in.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did. Mm-hmm. They did not need to do that.
Yeah.
By the state.
If they wanted to, like they always saying, oh, we're going to cut. I know we're jumping right off topic here, but
we could have saved money.
You could have saved, if they were all about saving money, they could have saved.
Yes.
They did not have to replace you on the board. They could have done the next couple of, the 1 year without you.
Right.
And then had the regular election and then had their third person after that.
After that 7 months.
Because they were already making decisions that they were already, violating open meeting law and making decisions on.
And they were. It's very hard to prove, but they were.
Yeah. Just by, what was the result? Well, that couldn't have taken place without you talking to him.
Yeah.
So that's
he evaluated a 33-year police officer chief contract without ever talking to him once. He did it a week after he was elected. This is Alan Smith. And lied on the air. She said, you paid for 2 chiefs at the same time because you misread the contract. And he did. The memorandum says the right year. He misread it, and his colleague misread it. And they had to eat crow.
Mm-hmm.
But they refused to believe it or admit it, even though they signed the contract. It's like, so you had to pay for 2 chiefs, and he said on the air, no, I didn't. You had to pay 2 chief salaries. You signed it. It's right here. They said on the air. No, I didn't.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
What? That's who's in that seat right now. Like, I could not sit next to that man. That's why I resigned. I couldn't sit next to him. He's so unethical.
Especially the other guy sitting next to him.
Was even worse. Mm-hmm. And he was pulling the puppet strings too, Lauren.
Yep.
So when Alan got elected, I'm like, I refuse to make decisions with these two, because even if I vote no, I'm still tied to it. And they were about to get rid of the police chief, and I knew it. And because we argued for a year about it, me and Lauren. And they were about to get rid of the town planner. And they say it's financial. It's not financial. She paid for her salary with all the grants she got for 18 years over. Mm-hmm. I did the math. So, like, I wanted no part of that. So I fought from the outside. And it was more effective, wasn't it?
Yeah. I got them riled up pretty good.
Yeah.
You gotta, just at, there they go. Yeah, it just seems like,
Fred.
I can't think with all this barking.
Fred. Oh my God. Sorry. So what were you saying? Yeah, so I needed to get that message out before, like, I should have gotten that message out week 1. So by the time everyone early voted and mail-in voted, they never got anything from me until it was too late. And that's where all the votes are. 90% of the votes are in that pool of mail-ins. and early voters.
But you're in a really good position right now.
Yeah, it's
to make sure that people are held accountable.
Yeah.
And just keep needling them and saying, nope, I heard what you said. I know the promises you made.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure that you keep them.
Hi, Kelly. Yeah, exactly. And now, because I wasn't planning on running again.
No.
I thought we had at least 2 people that one would probably do it. I wasn't planning on doing this.
Just couldn't sit back and watch it.
No, but they all decided not to. They didn't want anything to do with it, and they all convinced me to do it. So I'm like, oh my God. I was not planning on this.
No.
But you know what? Fuck it. You only live once. Mm-hmm. And I could not watch him just walk right in. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see how much he spent. Mm-hmm. And so now that I lost, I got a good amount of votes. I got almost the same amount that Jake got when he won. And I got just below what Jameson got when he won. It's fine. It's fine. And I did not get my message out. So I feel like I may not still have won, who knows, but I would have at least captured another maybe 500 votes. At least. With that mailer. And that's why Brett Zagrafos lost in Dayton. It's the same thing.
There's a sense of relief, though.
Oh, it's a massive sense of relief.
Because now we can, the promise is made.
Yeah. I just wish I afforded people the chance to, get to know me earlier, and then they would have understood why I resigned. And I converted. Oh, I should tell them about the guy converted. Wait, I didn't mention this yet, right? So there was a guy, I won't say where. I never knew who he was or who lived at this house. It's a nice house. And he always has had, the opponent's sign or the anti, just the, what do you want to call it?
It just seemed
the contrarian side.
Yeah, let's call it contrarian.
Yeah. He'd always have a contrarian sign for whoever the contrarian candidate is. Fine, whatever, no big deal. But it's a nice house. And I'm like, oh, I wonder who lives there. They clearly support these people and maybe they're friends with them. Who knows? Well, I'm on the campaign trail and I was giving out the flyers and I went to this person's door and I put it, because I didn't see anyone. So I just put it in the door. And as I'm about to leave the property, he comes over with a smile and his dog. And he's like, oh, I was just coming over to make sure the dog didn't scare you. And I was like, no, it's fine. I'm not going to say who it is, but he asked me a bunch of questions, ended up knowing the girl that I was with by chance, like not very well, but similar circles. And so we had a great conversation, and we talked for 30 minutes about the town, and he asked me questions and all this stuff. And he was clearly supporting my opponent. And I know he was a diehard Allen fan, but he was nice to me. And we had a great conversation. And so that was it. I was about to leave, and he goes, you should do this all the time. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, you should go around town and meet with people. Charlie. You should go around and talk to them like this. I said, well, I've been trying, but I started too late, and I haven't really seen a lot of people out, but I've seen some really good people as well. But this is a great conversation. Thank you for talking to me. You don't have to, because you're not voting for me. He goes, well, you should really keep doing this, because you just changed my mind. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I did what? He's like, oh, I'm voting for you now on Monday. And it was Saturday. And he's like, I'm voting for you on Monday. And I'm like, you are? Like, what? Are you sure?
Yeah, you've had their camp signed in your yard since 2000.
Forever.
Yeah, 5 years.
Even longer than that. They probably had my opponent in 2016.
Probably. I didn't even
so it's like the same people. So I think he did.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, I was not trying to change your vote. And he's like, oh no, you convinced me. I was like, I didn't mean to. That's amazing. Thank you. So that was like, made me realize, like, if I got to really talk to the rest of the people about, oh my God, child, about my resignation, I would have people would have understood better. I think I have faith in some of those people, like.
But it's
so I get it.
It's human nature, though. It's like Steve Modis comes out and he wants to make a point and say that they don't understand why and how important it was to you to make that type of decision. They just say, "Oh, she quit. She's a quitter. She's a quitter."
Well, right.
I've known you for 10 years. I know you're not a quitter.
And I understand. Thank you. And so, like, I understand why the optics of resigning, like, looks bad. I get it. Mm-hmm. And so for people that they don't know any different, or they don't know who to ask, or they could ask me, but they just don't. The people that aren't affiliated with the contrarian people, like the people that are kind of middle of the road, they would be opening, like that guy. He was open to listening to why things happened, and he listened, and he was awesome. But the people that use that as an excuse when they're offered the information, no, you resign, you're a quitter, and I explain why, they were never voting for me, and because they won't hear the why, they won't listen. So they were never voting for me anyway, so I'm not going to bother with them.
Oh, you said that he was always nice to you.
Yeah.
Steve Modis was always nice to you. Well, I think he felt like you were so nice that he kind of was nice back, and he just kind of left it that way. And then he used this as a segue to just not like you, and I'm not going to vote for you now.
Or he was fake the whole time.
Fake, exactly.
Maybe he never meant it. Yeah. Yeah, I went to his retirement. He thanked me, and his wife thanked me. I was like...
Yeah, that's what it appears that way. It's not a genuine type of situation.
Yeah, like, why did you have to do that? That was a waste of energy, like, for everyone. Mm-hmm. And it's rude.
Yeah, it just annoyed me.
Yeah,
it just didn't need to happen.
Well, that's why he's not chief.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it seems like you have to make a lot of decisions and make decisions about this person and that person based... It's just too much. He seemed like he had too much emotion.
Yeah.
So...
Like, sir, why are you so angry?
Yeah. Yeah. He was carrying a lot of anger on his shoulders for, just going and vote instead of stomping down the street and to give me a flyer back
40 yards later. Yeah.
So that there was a couple of people that said that they didn't want the flyer, or they were all
they already voted. A lot of them already voted for me,
but
which
no one
made me think
no one did that.
False sense of hope, but yeah, that guy. And then the planned, the orchestrated bullshit at the polls for the national, the primaries.
Mm-hmm. At least a dozen people came up to me and said, wow, that was just a big theatrical event, wasn't it?
Yes, it was staged.
It was very staged. It was, it just happened to be here.
They all showed up when we showed up. They knew that we showed up, so they all rallied. 15 minutes later, they all showed up.
Yep.
And then they were all there at the same time. The altercation happened, and they all left. It was bullshit. It was and they were filming the whole time. And she says in the article, I just happened to be there. So, like, this guy, Eugene, comes down the thing. I was handing things out. I didn't even say my name. I was just handing, hey, a reminder for April 8th. Don't forget. Thanks for voting. And he's like, you called me an asshole. You've never been called an asshole? I'm sorry. And I said, oh, when? I don't know you. And he's like, I met you plenty of times at these events. And I'm like, what events? You've never come to my events. I have a sign-in sheet. I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, we talked. And he's just making this stuff up. And you called me an asshole. And I probably did online. And then you said I was the reason for these things, blah, blah, blah. He's screaming. And his family went to the car. And I'm still in the tent. I'm like, are we done now? Are you still that upset? You did it 3 years ago. I'm like, wait, I did it 3 years ago and you're still this angry. And he wouldn't, and then he got madder.
Talk about carrying it with you all day.
Oh my God. And he wouldn't stop. And there's Jess Machado recording the whole thing. Like, so bland. So I started recording just to mock them. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, you're recording too? I'm like, yeah, she is. Mm-hmm. I want my video. So, well, and he kept repeating it. Mm-hmm. Then I started to get scared because I said, why don't we talk about this over coffee or something? No, we're going to handle it now. Of course, they left that part out.
Yeah, of course.
We're going to handle it now. And I'm like, well, I can't handle it now. You're clearly angry. I'm so sorry you've been harboring this for 3 years. Like, the word asshole isn't that bad. And yes, I probably said it. And I own it because you're still being an asshole, sir. And then he got mad I was calling him sir. And I already owned it. And I apologized. I said, look, I'm so sorry. Mm-hmm. Nope.
No, they knew what they were doing.
Just kept screaming, videotape, scream. Then I got scared because I've already been assaulted twice. And they don't hold back.
Yeah, they felt like they needed to escalate this to a certain level to make you...
and I was alone at the time. Yeah. So I texted Dan, hurry up, come back. And the guy's still yelling. So I started to shake. And I'm like, okay, he's not leaving. He's getting louder. And you finally stepped in and were like, is there a problem?
Yeah.
And he was like,
Yeah, stop.
And then he left.
He pretty much left. Yeah.
Well, she called me an asshole. Well, yeah, she probably did.
No, probably did because, well, look, you're acting like an asshole. You know, my daughter called me an asshole because I drank the milk.
No one cares.
Don't make it like it's the worst thing that's ever happened to you.
I'm not a criminal, dude.
Yeah.
If you can't handle that, you got problems.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You know, it's not that bad of a word.
It's really not. And that's not why I lost. And I didn't lose because of my debt. Like, the people that were not voting for me, they care about that. But they weren't voting for me anyway.
The negativity, the venomous toxicity that they showed in this campaign.
It was off the charts.
Campaigning was incredible. And when, they drew first blood and then you went right back. And then it just never stopped from there.
They don't stop. I don't have time for that.
No. And, that they actually, this guy's support, their team, the people that support him.
Yeah.
This guy approved all this.
He did.
This is the
They're trash.
Committee to elect Alan Smith are trash. They are all trash.
All of them.
And the negativity, the toxicity, the venomous bullshit that we put up with.
And the guy saying, my alcohol and my meds don't work well together and that's why I have a mental illness. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you, sir? Like, first of all, I don't really drink at all.
Yeah, sorry, doctor, whoever your name is.
I just don't like you, sir. I don't like you, and I'm allowed to have an opinion just like you have. So fuck off. Mm-hmm. And these people, like, they're insane. Mm-hmm. And most of them were the bullies in high school. Like, they're known in their high school class to be horrible people.
Mhm.
A lot of them.
Mhm.
And they haven't changed. And they don't give a fuck.
Mhm.
And Alan supports all of that.
Mhm. Yep, with open arms, because he never told him to calm down, quiet down, to stop
You
it.
can't.
Because he knows that if no, that's just going to continue to berate him and talk down to him and yell at him when he doesn't do something that they want. It's just going to
That's what they
continue
do.
for another 3 years.
It will.
Yeah.
At the expense of the town.
At the expense of the town.
And
he's not for the whole town. He's bringing in saying that he's bringing in 50 businesses.
No, that's not even accurate.
No,
it's not even accurate.
These are businesses coming in.
They're organic. They're small businesses. Yeah, they're not paying for our taxes.
No,
tiny bit.
No. But his support team's still fighting.
They're still appealing
permits and how to get this business on, off and running. Prismian off and running. They're still appealing it and fighting it. His supporters.
Yeah, the biggest supporters. The group he founded.
Yeah.
Save Our Bay.
The person who was put in the appeal was holding an Allen sign down the Buffett.
Yeah.
So.
And supporting him in other ways too.
Yeah.
And he was nowhere to be found, from what I'm told from someone that was actually firsthand involved. He was nowhere to be found when it came to anything Prismian.
Mm-hmm.
He did not communicate with them. It made them think that it was not something the town wanted. Then the boards were giving them hell because Allen and Save Our Bay controlled the boards. And they almost walked because of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all related to him. And then I think he helped me get votes because of the bullying, because there were a lot of people offline that were telling their friends that those trash articles pissed them off, so they were going to vote for me instead. So that there was some of that going on. And then because they also could relate to my debt, they were like, well, I have debt, there's nothing wrong with me, so
yeah, you get behind, you dig yourself out. It's the end of the world.
It's a life problem. It's normal.
Yeah.
And so if that's all you have on me, like, no one cares. And all the Facebook posts and everything on that stupid website they made, I, by design, for the past 3 years, I put everything out there. I mean, everything. And I was still selective at times, but I did it, on purpose, so nothing could be leaked.
Right. Oh.
And they made a website of it. I'm like, no, everyone's already.
They still felt the need to compile all the stuff that you willingly put out on the internet, which you knew would resurface at some point.
I didn't care.
They compiled it all in one big happy little box and tried to disparage you and slander you at the same time.
To make it twisted. People don't like that. No. That's not why he won. No. It's just not. People don't like that. They like that. They feed off of that. Yep. But they were always like that. All of them. So a big chunk of it was because of my resignation and me not getting, that's on me. I should have got my message out day one and had a really good, bigger conversation to reintroduce myself into the community. And I totally get it. So that had a huge part of it.
It was.
And another part of it was people eating up their bullshit, which the taxes, him promising $1,100 per household, that's $6.5 million, right?
Mathematically impossible.
It is mathematically impossible.
So we'll be watching you every step of the way, Alan.
So guess what? Exactly. Like you said, next year, if taxes go up at all, which we already kind of know they might be going up a lot, they most likely will, then he only has himself to blame. Who promises $1,100 per house? You'd have to cut police, fire, highway, town hall. That'd be about 6, I think. So you wouldn't have a town.
No, you have volunteer fire. You're gonna bring your trash to the highway department every Saturday morning.
And Prismian's still not a done deal. They could walk, and they're delayed because of Alan's supporters putting in these 2 appeals or whatever they are. They're still under appeal. That could take a year.
There was an appeal, and now there's a brand new one.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
And so even if Prismian started tomorrow, for the next 6 to 10 years, they bring in $1.5 million a year about.
Mm-hmm.
Taxes go up on average every year because of cost of living increases and contractual obligations by like about 2.1 million. Mm-hmm. Do that math. You can't get $6.5 million from that. You're not making money.
No.
You're not making any money.
You can cut all you want. You're still not going to cut to the rate of inflation and the obligations, and
yes,
it's not going to happen.
Right.
And I can't wait.
I know. And people ate that up. They bought it.
It's going to be fun to see. It's going to be hurtful to the people in town that can't afford to live here anymore.
Yes.
That's what we're really worried about.
Yes.
And we got maybe figuring out ways to help with that.
Yeah. It's just not the same town. People that lived here ate it up.
Yep.
I don't get it.
It's not Camelot anymore.
It's not. It's just not. Oh, and you had a good point. Back to the asshole thing. You had a good point that, like, we're Gen X. We were taught to call people assholes to their face if they were an asshole. Like,
yeah.
We are proud to be Gen X.
Yeah.
Like, we're just, you don't question what we're thinking. Like, stop being such a wimp. Mm-hmm. I could use other words, but I won't.
But this man, he fits into, he's even older than us, I think, maybe slightly older than us.
Yeah.
And so he should be even tougher. Like,
he's in his 61 or something.
Something should roll off his back, like a little easier, water off a duck's back, if you will, and not have that much of an impact on your emotions to be called an asshole.
Oh, the other guy,
yeah, when you're really, when you're being one. Yeah, when you're being one.
Like, have a little bit of self-awareness.
Be prepared for that if you're being...
Right. Oh, and then this is another way to tell it was set up. Right before we got home, he was already on the Facebook page talking in the third person, pretending he was a witness. And I was like, it was you. I see you.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
did.
It was you.
I saw you taking those screenshots.
You're pretending it's... What? You think we're not going to figure this out?
And then when he knew he was caught, he admitted to it.
He did.
Started talking in the...
Like, you're lying. Such an idiot. Oh, and going back to the message getting out, I remember telling you that there were probably 3 different people, completely unrelated, I've never met them in my life, approached me at the polls saying, I got your newsletter and I'm only here voting for you because of it. And I'm like, what? Was that, like, effective? And they were like, oh, yeah. And there were a couple people that told my friend that they called her and said, we just got Holly's newsletter, and we realized we have to vote. And so the newsletter was so effective. Like, why didn't I do that out the gate? That was so stupid.
Well, I think it had the same impact on the voters as your, I really loved your campaign video in 2016.
Yeah, it was my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I think John did that as well, right?
Yeah,
he did. Amazing
I shared
job.
It with that newsletter, like they could go to watch it.
Right, you could watch it, and it was just so well done. And that video had a big impact on your campaign.
Yes,
in 2016, and like this flyer did. But like you said, the timing was just people had already early voted by mail. It didn't, and a lot of it is they're voting by mail early because they don't want to go to the polls.
I don't blame them.
I did threats.
Right. Yeah. I did it too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I didn't even want to stand there that day and look at them. They're just they got louder as the day went on. It was just too much.
Yeah.
Oh, but so what did I say, if you can remember? What did I say when we were deciding to run? How I wanted the campaign to be?
Oh,
I mean,
you had a. I think when you had your back problem, it was
laid up.
Pain,
and I still have it, but it's not as bad.
So there was a lot of a little bit of bed rest, and being on the couch and being on the computer and figuring things out. And you basically ran the campaign from bed. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's what
out.
Yep, and
It
I
still got 1,300 votes.
yeah, and I told him I'm like no, because the first time I ran it was crazy. Like I ran it like a massive project, like I am used to, and we had weekly meetings. We had about 30 people in the house at a time. We had meeting minutes and agendas and delegated stuff, and I sent out a ton of mailers, and there was so much. I started a TV show, like, so, but this time I'm like, I can't do all that. Like, I know exactly what I need to do, and I'm going to do it with you, and not just you. I'm not going to ask anyone for help, just a little bit. Some people offered, so I asked them at times, but like, I wanted to enjoy it. I'm like, we're just going to enjoy it. We're going to run this campaign. We know exactly what we're doing. We've run a few now, all winning campaigns. And I'm like, okay, but you know what? You can't win them all.
Can't win them all. No.
But that's all I wanted. I enjoyed
we're
it.
Spinning out of control.
Oh, we're spinning. Oh, I forgot.
We're spinning out of control and just absolutely devastated and on the floor, just crying.
Oh,
I hope Alan's on the floor crying in the year from now.
He will be, but that's not our problem anymore. No. Yeah. So like we said, we're gonna enjoy it. We're not gonna let it take over our lives because we don't need it. We did it as a bonus. We wanted to help because shit's going south, and it has been for 3.5 years. Like we did it as a bonus. Like it helped me heal in a lot of ways. Like I reconnected with the community. It was awesome. I had a great time, and it's not the end of the world not being a select. Like when I resigned, it also wasn't the end of the world. If it was such a relief because I could not do it anymore. It was not effective anymore. And running was the, way to be effective this time. Like, it's okay.
I mean, we ran a campaign. You want to win. I'm competitive like you.
Yes.
I wanted. Yeah, it would have been great to throw your hands in the air and win that, but we didn't, and it's okay. It's just a campaign.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to be able to, but you can give them hell from here.
Yeah, it's better this way. And, having been through all this for the past, let's say 5 to 10 years, it's because it's been about 8 since I first ran. So 8 years, and especially the last 5 years, having been through all of it, like when I resigned, it was like 3 years ago, I was tapped out and I wasn't effective anymore because of the two sitting next to me. It didn't matter, but I was also emotionally and like all around tapped out. And so having that 3 years off from it while still helping, it felt good for me to help. I wanted to help. And I promised everyone I would help. But having the 3 years off, now I see it so differently and I handle it differently. Like you even said so. Like I didn't really realize it at first, but I'm like, oh, it's kind of bouncing off me now. Like it's not as bad. I would have been able to handle it with a fresh, after 3 years of it off, a fresh like start. Mm-hmm. And it would have been awesome to work with Jamie and Jake, but it's fine. I can still work with them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. My first donation was Senator Roderick's. Like I had a lot of support. But and everyone is so nice. The good people. They're so nice.
Yeah.
Even the ones that weren't necessarily voting for me, like there were some really nice people.
Yeah, just ask. Well, there's some people that weren't, that said, good old friends and from growing up, but
they're not mean about it.
No, they're not mean. Even if they want to vote for Alan,
it's fine.
They just were normal people. That this group just can't be that way.
Yeah.
It's too toxic.
Yeah. So I was just like, I was shocked at first because people made it sound like, oh, you got it in the bag. And I'm like, these are people that know what's up. Mm-hmm. I'm like, they really think that? Like, I was not sure. Yeah, it's going to be close. Yeah. No, you got it in the bag. And I'm like, there's no way.
I didn't run into, maybe one or two people said that, but most people said that it's going to be close, or they thought it was going to be closer. And they said that you have a really good shot, which is, I didn't really run into a lot of people saying you got it in the bag. I don't think a lot of people felt that way. You did, I didn't, but
not a ton, just a handful of people that I would say like, oh, they were like, how you doing? And I'd be like, I'm nervous. They're like, why? You're fine. You're totally fine. You have nothing to worry about. And some of them were just reassuring, but some of them I think believed it, and I believed it at one point. I was almost convinced at one point. because I was running into so many random people that were like, I already voted for you. I already voted for you. I'm like, what? I was shocked. And it was so positive for the whole time, except the end. Like, I ran into some negative people that were not nice.
Yeah. We decided to we were canvassing on the day of the election, which it was more of because we didn't get these out to the neighborhoods we really wanted to, and we thought that might be effective, but then we look back on it, like the decisions we made, we tried to the timing was a little off, which was fine, but because everybody had already voted or made up their mind on the day of the election, especially, and
yeah, almost 3,000 people.
Yeah, but we got a few more flyers out.
Yeah,
we thought that it would make a difference,
and it did, but not enough.
Yeah, there was a few, but
it was too late. Yeah,
and admit it. I mean, make mistakes, you learn from them.
Yeah, it's just the world's changing, elections are changing, the town has changed, we've changed, and I always say that phrase: "No man steps in the same river twice." It's not the same as it was. It's worse and harder. For some for good, some for bad.
Yeah, I mean, the group down there is just fighting to fight. They want to hear themselves yell and scream.
Like the guy, we were on the street and you were like, "Why did you flip me off?" And I was like, "What's going on with that guy?"
Yeah, it was a couple of days before. It was Sunday, the night before the election.
Mm-hmm.
We were just finishing up a neighborhood, and I was getting dark, and family was walking, and this guy just decided he recognized Holly, and I don't know if he saw our flyer, I don't know, but he was upset that we were in his neighborhood. He couldn't really put a sentence together.
He was mumbling bad.
Mumbling like he was drunk or something, but
I think he was drunk.
Yeah, and he was flipping me off and kind of starting shit with me, and I just asked him why he's starting shit, and
yeah, like what?
Yeah, and I didn't. It wasn't something that that day before an election we wanted to encounter or escalate anymore, so we just drove away and moved on.
Yeah.
But this guy was just very rude, and
he's going like this.
Yeah, he's doing little motions of.
And I'm like, what?
Like, get out of here, leave.
He's
like,
get out of here.
Yeah. Well, we think he was friends with. Definitely fits
the mold.
Fits the mold for those people down there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's every single person that there were only a handful, but the handful of mean people that we ran into they were Allen supporters, but they were so fucking mean about it. Mm-hmm. Like, why do you have to? Why? Some guy's like, "Don't bother." I'm like, okay, you don't have to be a dick. You don't have to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, you're just being an asshole. Yeah. There's no need.
Yeah, well,
then they call me the asshole for saying it. Like, give me a break. Yeah. Like, you've never heard that word? Well, you're the biggest bully in high school, and you still are. Like, come on.
Yeah, the camp is just full of assholes over there.
I can't.
It's just, enough's enough. Like, grow up.
Oh, they don't need it. So it's like when I resigned, I'm like, here, take my seat. You need it more than I do to feel like you're worth something. Like, I don't need to be a selectman. It doesn't define me forever. I wasn't doing this for most of my life. Like, I have a life and I wanted to help, and now I'm not helping. I'm done. Like, I'll help a little bit, but I'm tired, man.
Yeah. Definitely shoveling shit against the tide at this point.
Yeah. Like the guy day one had an Allen sign. Didn't know that anyone knew where he lived, but there's a voter registration booklet that he doesn't know about. And he wouldn't stop on my page writing novels, but playing dumb, big time. Like, dude, the questions you're asking, you would have to know something to ask these. There's no way.
Someone's feeding them the questions.
Yes. Yeah. And we know that you have an Allen sign, and we're just pretending we don't know.
Yeah.
And then, we'll meet for coffee. Let's meet for coffee. First week, sure. Even though he had a sign already, he wasn't going to divulge that. And then today, I'm like, you had a sign. Oh, wow. No. Like, okay.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Yeah, you did. You did.
Did you get a picture of it? I think you did.
I think I did.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. Like,
little evidence.
It's like, but I made some amazing new friends on this. I think we both did. From all over.
Yeah, the support and the friendships are genuine, even from long ago till now.
Yeah.
Those are the people that are hardcore, and they support you.
I love it so much. I love them. And just, that's what I like about it. The negative stuff, it's like most of it's just made up, and you can't even make it up. Like but I'm so grateful for like the positive everything, so much.
Yeah.
And I think this time like helped us too. Like we really worked together well, and
I think we fought less.
we did.
Yeah. Or you didn't yell at me as much.
No.
One or the other.
And I wasn't as stressed.
Yeah. No, you weren't.
I wasn't. I refused to let myself get stressed. I'm like, nope. If I start to feel anxious about something, I'm going to go to bed, or I'm going to like relax, and not, I didn't let it get to me. And that's, I think, how it would have been if I went back into office. But now I'm relieved. Like I would have stuck out the 3 years. I wouldn't have resigned. Like that was a very unique tactic that I did. And it was good for everyone, including the town. It was the best decision for everyone involved.
Because it just would have, if you stayed in there, your vote wouldn't have counted.
No, and I would have just been yelling the whole time.
Right. It would have been yelling and screaming.
For nothing.
The toxicity and the attacks would have gotten worse. And
Yeah.
it would have gotten worse and worse and worse.
And I would have been tied to it.
And you would have been tied to the whole thing. And I supported you resigning, and I know why. Some people don't understand, or they haven't made the effort to understand.
Right.
But it was very hard for you to do that. I saw it.
Yeah.
It was something we discussed.
Yeah.
In depth.
Yep.
But
quickly.
And you're not a quitter. You're
No.
a damn hard worker, as far as I'm concerned, and even your education and everything you've done. And I see all your projects and now your new job. You put a lot of effort into things, and
thanks.
Getting rid of that. Resigning for that position, I knew it took a lot out of you.
It was like I felt like I was a nurturing mom for like the town was my kid, taking care of it, and it was the right thing to do. Yeah, you get it, and most people don't understand until they talk to us. And I would have stuck it out, but 3 years now is a long time. And I'm grateful now because I can keep my peace. I can get involved at my own pace. And I have no jurisdiction, but I still have an impact. So it's like, I want to help these people survive, but I also can't control the outcome that's about to sink. Like they don't realize they saved me from the sinking ship.
Yeah.
Because if I was in that seat, I'd be sinking with the ship.
Well, let's see if Captain Smith goes down with the ship. He's in trouble.
It's not going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
He's going to have a lot of.
And you can't blame me. I'm not in the seat. You didn't vote me in. It ain't my fault. It's just not my fault.
And
you didn't want it, so you're going to get it.
I'll say it. I'll say it again. I say it all the time that I'm really concerned for the older folks on fixed incomes that have always lived here, love their homes, don't want to have to move out. But that tax bill is getting increasingly more. It's rising faster than any raises in their Social Security check or whatever that the government does. But it's really important that those folks, the salt of the earth people that will still live in their homes can stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is so I reread my resignation letter, and I hadn't read it since I resigned in April 2021. So it was the first time. It was all applicable now. It's the same. It got worse now. It's worse. So I read it like in shock. I'm like, I already predicted all of this, and we're in the now and it's happening. And there was 1 year I had in that resignation speech. There was 1 year after we hit rock bottom when we raised taxes because of the closure of Bain Point. There was a year after that we lowered the tax rate by $3 per thousand. That's a lot. We lowered it. We hit rock bottom and then we lowered the taxes because we could afford it and we were saving.
But you got some of that money from.
That was not a Reggie year.
It was a.
I think it was after Reggie sunsetted.
Was it free cash?
Some of it, but not all of it. We put most of free cash in the stabilization fund. We just we've planned it right. We planned it right. We had certain revenue starting to come in. Mm-hmm. We sold the power, we didn't sell the power plant, but they sold the power plant. Like, there was things turning around. Mm-hmm. We won the arbitration case for the price of the land at Brayton Point.
Oh, yeah. Alan said that the town was suing.
No, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
It's such...
No, it was an abatement, Alan. Yeah. They didn't sue the town for the value.
They do that for the
That's normal. You can get your house value abated. Mm-hmm. That's to say, like, hey, let's make sure this is accurate. Yes. And they readjust. They inspect it. They readjust it. They readjust the value of your home. Anyone can do an abatement. That's all that CDC did when they bought the property. Yep, we're going to get it abated and see. And that's what our arbitration is for. Like,
to make sure they're paying market price.
Anyone's allowed. It's their right. Yeah, they weren't suing the town.
It is their right, yeah.
So anyway, we got that $3.3 million back. Great. Okay, we had already planned for it. When we hit rock bottom, we'd already planned to lose. So we had to raise taxes with that too. That was part of the overlay. Mm-hmm. We had to raise taxes. That was part of the overlay. And that's why taxes went up so much that year. Because the Brayton Point closed, we had to prepare that we were wrong for the value, but when we learned that we were right, we got the money back. Mm-hmm. So what?
And then going forward, here we are 3 years later, and the taxes go up another 16%.
Yes, it's unacceptable.
And it's not because of the schools.
It's not, because if the economic development hadn't decreased by 70% in the past 3 years, that's a lot. Mm-hmm. We would have revenue to cover the cost of the school, which was planned 4 years ago, and got stopped by Alan Smith and Save Our Bay. Yeah. It's all been stopped for at least 3 years. We're way behind.
Yeah, when you don't support economic development, things get halted, things don't proceed, the tax revenue doesn't come in, and then...
You can't pay your bills.
Every
year you're going to have a project. You have to prepare every year, whether it's maintenance of your buildings, capital improvements, contractual obligations are constant. And then we knew the middle school was most likely going to happen. We got the MSBA approval and all that stuff, which is fantastic. It's 60% paid for by the state. That's fantastic. We needed that. Mm-hmm. So we were covering for the future cost of the school, knowing that, okay, we're going to work with CDC and bring in the revenue. And then Prismian eventually, they started negotiating in 2018, which was back then. We would have had all that revenue to cover the cost of the school. So the taxes would not have gone up. And we wouldn't have gotten rid of our planner because she brings in millions. We wouldn't have lost the original Wilbur school owner because he said, after this, the neighbors are so nasty. 3 years behind.
Because the guy wanted a coffee shop in the front of his apartment building, so for the residents.
Yes.
And he says
Alan and his daughter said they were afraid of them putting a shredder there.
A metal shredder.
Which is illegal anywhere in town. But anyway.
And these are the people. This guy is running the town. He's on that board, and he has ulterior motives. He's not for the town.
Right. Well, we'll see when that $1,100 shows up in our pockets.
I could use it.
Oh my God.
Such a joke.
Oh, and I loved recently, they're complaining because, and I'm still trying to, I think I found one of the articles, but they're complaining saying Commonwealth Magazine, which is now Commonwealth Beacon, and WSAR and the Herald, Fall River Herald, they're claiming that they're writing these slanderous bullshit articles attacking Save Our Bay, calling it, like, why are they reading a website, our Facebook page? Why are they talking about our Facebook page? Well, we thought you wanted to be relevant. Like, this isn't the attention you wanted? Oh, I'm sorry, it's negative. Because you're negative. Mm-hmm. So the media is reporting on it.
Right. Right.
So you want the good attention of the Facebook group, but not the bad attention because you've created this yourself.
But then their 501c3 or whatever they have or still have or don't have,
They don't have.
They're not supposed to be a political group anyway.
Right.
And they clearly are.
Still going.
Yep.
So it's just interesting that they're not getting the attention that they want, that people are calling them out. That's the bottom line. They can't handle being called out.
Mm-hmm.
It's,
They attack like piranhas when they get called out and anything says anything negative about them.
Yes. And it's when you disagree with someone, it doesn't mean you're attacking them. The attacks that they have on me are personal. They make memes. They attack you and your knee problem. Like, who does that? And then they talk about medication and alcohol. Like, what the and saying I have a mental illness, that's a clinical diagnosis that you're not allowed to make. Or calling me a pathological liar. That was the funniest.
Oh, yeah.
That's also a clinical diagnosis.
Yeah, you can't say that stuff.
Oh, my God. I just...
On an open public forum.
But that's why they hate me so much, because I don't put up with it. They hate me because I have a voice. They hate me because I don't roll over like everyone else. And I won't roll over, because then I'm not giving them what they want. I'm doing what's right. Anyway. So I won't be being quiet. I don't like being told to be quiet, because that diminishes what I'm trying to do and my feelings on the matter.
Look, I want to say one more thing. I don't know if we're getting toward the end here.
Say whatever.
You ran a good campaign.
Thank you.
You really did.
Well, you did too.
I'm just a sign guy.
No,
Everybody
you
knows
did.
that.
You did a lot.
And I just wanted to say to the people here listening that you worked hard. You ran a good campaign, and proud of you. Nice job.
Thank you. That's nice. I feel good about it.
You should hold your head up high.
I was so sad at first. It broke my heart, but no, it's not meant to be. It's okay. Mm-hmm. I'm relieved now that I got the cry out.
Yeah, you're so competitive. You're like me. You want to win. It feels good to win. Ask Alan. He's won twice.
Yeah, it's one of the best feelings ever.
Congratulations, Alan Smith.
Yeah, you're still an asshole, but whatever.
We're gonna watch. We're watching you. We're gonna hold you accountable.
Yeah, $1,100. We'll be waiting. Mm-hmm. Even though we're renters.
Yeah.
And we don't matter.
Oh, we don't matter.
According to them.
Because our landlord doesn't live here and his taxes don't matter.
Right.
Because that doesn't affect us.
That's what they say. Yeah. No, we love our landlord.
Yeah.
Well,
we don't want his taxes going up.
No, nobody does.
That's the thing. That's another thing I want to say is, why is it derogatory or negative that we're renting and it doesn't matter to us?
Yeah.
We're here not paying a property tax,
right.
renting a property, and we still care.
Yeah.
We still care about the people that that we see their taxes going up. We listen to them. It's gonna soon if this industry doesn't get pushed through and start getting some tax revenue back,
which it might not. It might not.
The taxes here are going to be, Barrington's very, very high. It's a very high quality town. I love it over there, and their taxes are upwards of $10,000, $11,000, $12,000.
But they have more amenities than we do, and they're nicer.
Yeah,
more like beautified.
Yeah,
kind of.
So it's like we're going to be paying those rates of taxes soon, and it's going to be very hard on a lot of people here.
It already is. I think people are feeling it. So next year they'll have.
So if they don't stop pushing
voting
back,
regret.
Yeah, if they don't stop pushing back and putting the brakes on all these things that are, all these appeals, and it's just detrimental to the town. Yeah,
and they're outright admitting these appeals, and people just don't. They don't know that because it wasn't on Alan's flyer, and he lied. And then he just calls me a liar. Like, calling me a liar doesn't change the facts. You're just making up facts. They're not facts. Like, that math, it doesn't add up. But nobody knows that.
Go back. If you really want the truth, go back to Alan's postcards. And he
save them.
He doesn't think this is claim truth, claim truth. The claims are actually the truth, and his truths are not.
They're made up.
They're made up.
They're twisted.
Twisted to
yeah. Some of them don't even apply to like what he's responding to. It's impossible to explain everything to everyone because there's a lot, but just, it'll happen. Like, they're going to see it when it hits their pocket. That's it.
Yep. It's coming.
Yeah. Let's pray.
Like a big wave.
Oh my God. Well, thanks everybody. Anything else? Thanks for listening. Bye everybody. The Salt Green is a podcast where politicians stop pandering and start getting real. This podcast is me, Holly McNamara, various co-hosts and guests. Our post-production is done by Pixella Films. For more content and all social media links, you can find us on thesaltgrain.com. Thank you for joining us while we take you into our world of public service, and be sure, as always, to take everything with a grain of salt.